Welcome back to Up the Villa opposition preview. Villa v Man City, and joined by the legend. I'd call you like Mr. Man City, Big Steve. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. How are you? How's things?
Yeah, good, mate. Coming off the back of a loss to Go Ahead Eagles, so yeah, feeling great. But how are you feeling as a Man City fan right now?
It's a lot better than it was early on in the season. You know, after the first three games, I think there's a few fans starting to panic. We didn't look good at all. We did at Wolves, but then we had Tottenham and Brighton. But at the minute, we've turned it around. We're doing okay. We're getting results. We're undefeated now in about 9 games. I think the sign with the back four. And obviously, we've got the Viking up front, who's at the minute, he's just crazy numbers. So at the minute, as a Man City fan, we're not too bad, mate, to be honest.
Have your aspirations sort of changed from the start of the season, or as a Man City fan, do you go into it wanting to win everything?
I think you've got to. I think that the club set the bar that high now, the standards of the club. You've got to go in thinking that. I mean, in the early days of the takeover, it was always typical City, and you was always having a little look at the 40-point mark to just make sure you got over the line. But I mean, what's gone on in the last decade is you can only think about that now. We've got to be challenging for the title every season. We've got to be thinking about the Champions League. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was. We know we're in a rebuild. We know we're in a bit of transition. We know that the squad that won 4 in a row and the treble is not the same. You know, there's a lot of older players, etc., etc. And it was time for a freshen up. And we've lost a lot of players. You know, Edison, Gundogan, Akanji, Kevin De Bruyne, etc. So it's just about getting new blood in there, new coaching staff he's got on board, and just trying to freshen it up a little bit and go again. You know.
Yeah, I mean, last season you went through that part sort of like November, December, like losing a lot of games. That's probably uncharacteristic of Man City. And you did go through a rebuild in the summer and in January especially. So just touch on some of the players that you've been able to bring in, and who's sort of standing out for you right now, the new players that you've brought in.
Yeah, well, obviously we brought in the cousin of Vita Reyes, who's gone out on loan to Girona, Brazilian centre back, and Gonzalez in last January, I think. Mamouche as well, and then obviously Ryan Cherki, Tijani Reinders, and Eight Naori have come in the summer. Naori's been injured, Cherki's been injured, so we've not seen much of them. Reinders has been ticking along okay. He looks like he's a great player. He just needs to find his feet with it. But it was, I mean, the defence, we've had to patch it up. So you've got Nico O'Reilly, who's really a midfielder. He's now playing at left back, doing fantastic, been called up to the England squad. And we've got Mateus Nunes, who was originally bought as a midfielder. Pep came out and said he wasn't clever enough for midfield. And he turned him into a right back. And I'll be honest with you, he's not a bad right back, you know. His positioning and etc. He's been well. So they've been doing okay. The return of Rodri is massive. You know, he had a year out, but he's not quite there yet. He's picking up little niggles here and there because he's been inactive and stuff. But at the minute, the signings have just bolstered the squad. They give us a bit of depth because I feel like the substitutes bench was getting to the point where we didn't really have that many great options. We had options, but they wasn't great. Last season, midfield of Gundogan and Kovacic was not going to win us anything. You know what I mean? It was very, very side to side and very, very safe. There was no one that could get the ball into Phil Foden early enough. And what you find this season is Foden started the season a lot better because people are finding him now. So he's getting in and around where we need to be. But as far as the new signings concerned, Gonzalez is steady away. You know, he got injured the other night. I don't know if he's going to play at weekend. And Ryan Cherki, when he comes on, he looks so dangerous. So we're looking forward to seeing him. He might get some minutes, you know.
Yeah, we have not mentioned Donnarumma. I mean, for me, he's the best shot stopper in the world. I mean, we saw him against us at Villa Park. Rashford's strike, he's so good. And I think he's kept quite a lot of clean sheets so far. How are you feeling about him? Because you had Trafford come in and then Donnarumma comes in. But, I mean, if you can get Donnarumma, then you sign him, don't you?
It was mental because obviously the thing is with City fans, we've been spoiled on Edison. So City fans automatically, when you mention a goalkeeper to us, it's all about playing out with your feet. We signed Trafford. Obviously, we had a buyback on him. I think Newcastle bid for him, so we had to get in there. We got him back. Great goalkeeper, fantastic young goalkeeper. But playing out with his feet, it's not going to happen. So the first few games, he looked a little bit ropey. City was still trying to do what Edison done. And then all of a sudden, this news come out that Donnarumma was available and City were in there. And I was like, seems a bit weird. But obviously, for me, he was the best goalkeeper in the world. You last season, if we'd have signed Donnarumma after they've won that Champions League, everyone would have been like, wow, what a signing. And he's come in, and honestly, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air, just calming the situation down. His presence, gone are the days of Man City playing out from the back. You'll see that at weekend. We will not play out from the back now. If you're pressing us, it's getting launched. But the difference is when you launch it, you've got a 6'5" monster at the other end of the pitch. So it's a win-win for me. You know what I mean? Don't piss about with it at the back. Get it up the pitch. So the City fans have struggled to not compare him to Edison, but all-round goalkeeping-wise, I think he's unbelievable. And I sit behind the net at the Etihad in the south, and just to hear him and see him barking out and pulling the fullbacks in, he's just exactly what we needed, you know. And he's been a revelation.
Yeah, like Pep's revolutionised football, especially in England. You know, you look at lower league teams playing out from the back, but now you start to see like teams long throws. It's gone back to a bit of like 90s ball. And I look at City with Pep now, and I actually feel like your system has changed quite a lot. You know, we used to see right backs inverting, etc., but the defence looks quite structured now. 4-3-3 to me. You've got the two wide players. How are you feeling sort of like watching this version of City now? I know you've mentioned that you don't play out from the back, but you know, two wingers, etc. What's your vibe watching City?
I think it's refreshing because I think, you know, you can say this, but a lot of City fans, I know they were winning everything, but the football was quite slow and patient, and people called it boring. And I know you can't really say it's boring when you're winning everything, but sometimes it is, you know. And then we've had the stage with Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané, where it was very exciting and fast, etc. Then we went to this approach, like you say, inverted centre backs, inverted full backs. Then he went with 4 centre backs and won the Champions League. And then, you know, he's always trying to evolve, but there's something a little bit refreshing about us this season because we really genuinely don't know what we're going to get. So you're going into a game thinking we should win, but you don't know. And that's always a little bit refreshing. You know, as an older City fan, you do miss that feeling of, you know, what's going to happen. But I feel like we've got a lot more options now. I think we can do a few different things in the game. Whereas last season, for example, we watched the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace. We got beat 1-0. We played the same way for 90 minutes, and there was never on a month of Sundays were we getting through. And it was literally just Pep being stubborn, Palace happy to let Ruben Diaz and Akanji have the ball outside the box, let Gundogan and Kovacic pass it along there, no problem. Now what you've got is you've got City that can obviously go long when they want to. They're getting the ball faster to Haaland. But what's happened with Erling is he's changed his game a little bit. You'll see it at weekend. He won't now engage with the centre-backs and start wrestling with them all game, which he did last time, because he's taking him off it. He'll sit probably 7-8 yards off your defence now, and he'll look like he's doing absolutely nothing until we get to a certain point up the pitch, and then all of a sudden, the movement starts and the run starts, and then all of a sudden, it all kicks into gear. So there's a reason why he started the season so well. I feel like he's adapted his game, but I think you'll see on Sunday, it's a different Man City team. I think we're quite flexible in the way we can play it. If people want to, if we're under the cosh like at Arsenal, we can dig in if we need to dig in, you know, and we can defend resolutely. Whereas I don't think we could have done that last season. I think we only knew one way. So yeah, we've added parking the bus to the Pep resume. This is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have expected that a few years ago, but you're a winner. Do you know what I mean? So you do what it takes to win. Talk to me about like watching Haaland then. I know you've alluded to what he's doing tactically, but I mean, do you expect him to score every time he gets the ball? Like every opportunity, are you thinking this is going in the back of the net?
Yeah, and it's almost you get sort of frustrated because people are not on his level. So you see him do a run and no one finds him, or you see we get down to the edge of the box and you think, put it in the box, the big man's in there, and then they check back and all that. That was the frustrating part. I feel like Arsenal are going through something a little bit similar now with Gyökeres. I feel like because you know we can score him as many goals, you want him to get the ball as quick as possible. You just got to be a little bit patient. But like you say with him, you know, he signed a 10-year contract. He'll be the future captain of the club. He absolutely loves the club. I mean, I've had some engagement with him this season on Instagram where we speak. I won't say quite a lot, but we speak probably 5 or 6 times a season. And after the Brighton game, I sent him a message and I basically just said, "What's going on, big man?" You know what I mean? Don't even look. It's not looking like it's clicking. And he sent me a really mad message back, and he was basically saying, "Look, there's no one more frustrated than me. The team are frustrated in training. It's going well. We're a new setup. We're a new backroom team. You just got to give us a bit of time. We're getting there." And it was everything I wanted to hear as a fan. He said it to me, and then he said to me, "I'm going to promise you that in the next game against United, I'll put it right. Trust me." And he went out and smashed them. And I messaged him after, and I said, "Fair play." I said, "You put the balls on the line, man, to say that to me, you know." And he went, "We keep on moving, Steve." And I love him. I think he's brilliant. And like you say, he's just a breath of fresh air, you know. And he scored 56 goals in his first season. He won the treble, and he was getting compared to a League Two striker. Now it's only in England, I think, where pundits can get away with that bullshit because, you know, we had Rory, who's obviously been on the overlap with us, saying he won't get 15 goals and all that. The guy's a monster. You know, you only have to look at his career path, the way he's gone. His dad managed his career, and now he's adapting. He's not just standing still. He realised last season, I'm getting took out the game here because I'm getting too involved with Gabriel and I'm wrestling with Tyrone Mings and all this, and they're getting in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop that little bit off. If they want to come deep and engage with me, let's have it, because then it opens a space behind. That's what Arsenal did. As soon as that ball went over the top, you see the sprinting on him. There's no one catching him. And I feel like at the minute, he's a joy to watch, and we are privileged to watch him, you know.
Do you think he's the best finisher the Premier League's ever seen?
Well, I mean, the other day, the stat come up, he's already scored more than Van Nistelrooy. He's scored more than Drogba in something like 140 games less. I think finishing-wise, obviously, there's Alan Shearer, who was sensational. I grew up watching Shearer, brilliant. I mean, he's up there with him. He's going to be in that conversation. And I feel like he's just got to keep doing what he's doing, but he's breaking record after record, hat-tricks after hat-tricks, and he's now starting to get some real pundits actually saying, you know what, this guy's a monster. You know, not saying stupid things about him. He should be in League Two, because the goals he's scoring, you know, you watch the goals he's scoring, it's not all the same. He's doing left foot, he's doing right foot, he's running in one-on-one, he's scoring headers, he's doing them stupid, mad acrobatic kicks. So he's literally, you know, he's got a lot to his bow, and you know, he's a great player. But I think he's going to go down. If he stays in the Premier League, I think he breaks Alan Shearer's record, mate.
As a City fan, then, how do you feel about him and Aguero? Do you think you can't compare him? Because obviously, what Aguero
I love Aguero. He's tattooed on my arm. You know what I mean? He's
but where do they rank for you? Like, who would you say you prefer watching, or who would you say was the better or most influential?
It's just hard because Erling came and he won us the treble. Do you know what I mean? Aguero was there, won everything at last minute against. The way I sum it up is, right, if that chance against QPR, yeah, if you paused it and said, right, there's someone in the box here to shoot, you have to choose who's taking it, Aguero or Haaland, then I'm choosing Aguero, because I think deadly finishing, at like ice cold finishing, I think Kun's got it. But I think Erling's just a monster. Kun Aguero, for his size in the Premier League against all the big boys, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, John Terry, all that, for his size, he was at a very disadvantage. And he was world class. And I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, because he broke a lot of records, Aguero, even Henry records, he broke them all. But then you've got Erling, who's built for the Premier League. You know, the size of him, the power, the thing, and it is. But I mean, I feel like when Erling leaves City, I feel like the City fans will all be leaning towards Big Earl. But at the minute, just got that love for Aguero a little bit more.
So you are in a title race. Touch on your thoughts on Arsenal, and what do you need to see from City to kind of proper get you believing that you're in it and it's on and you're going to do it?
Well, Arsenal, first of all, Arsenal have got a great squad. You know what I mean? It's took, 6 years to build it. They've added every season. They've come close. Pretty much what Liverpool did, and it's going to happen. It will happen soon for Arsenal. I've got no doubt about it. My problem with Arsenal, which I've said for a long time, is it's a mentality issue towards the end of the season. I feel if they're coasting it, they'll coast it. No pressure. I feel like if it gets into a tight one, where it's tit for tat, I think that's when they start to wobble a little bit. And the proof's in the pudding. We've seen it. As soon as City's been on the neck, their asses have dropped out. So as far as City, what I need to see City just keep picking up points and get to in and around just after Christmas where we can see where we can go for it. And if we can, I think that's when City kick into gear, and we've been there before, and we can put them runs together. That's when I see Arsenal thinking shit, because there's nothing worse in the title race when you know they play first, they win, you play, you win, then we play and win, they have to play and win. It's a nightmare. And what happens with Arsenal near the end of the season, it's always the teams you don't expect. It's the teams that are fighting for their lives that come and throw a draw in at the Emirates, or they nick one, and then that's what does it. They should have won the league 2 years ago, to be fair, and I think you beat them and threw the spanner in the works at the Emirates, and then their asses dropped out after that, and City smelled good and went, and let's have it. But so listen, as City as good as them? I'm going to admit it, I don't think we are. And I feel like if they get injuries to key players, they've got players that can slide in. I feel like if we lose Erling Haaland, or we lose a Ruben Diaz, or we lose a Donnarumma, etc., I feel like we're going to struggle a little bit. So as long as we keep everyone fit, keep on the coattails, I think we're in it.
Yeah, I do too. So thoughts on Villa overall this season? What have you made of us?
It was mad because you didn't have the greatest start, and then you've put a few results together, starting to look a little bit better. I watched a bit of that go-ahead Eagles game last night, which was a madness. But Villa's always a tough game for City at Villa Park. It's always a tough match. You know, I think Unai Emery's done a fantastic job. I think Aston Villa are, you're right up in the mix. You've got some fantastic players. The team, is there or thereabouts every year now, looking to get in that Champions League. And I think that's you as a Villa fan, that's where you need to be. It's where you want to be. I just think, we've got to relax a little bit. We don't have to take the game to Villa. We don't have to be a big Man City. We're going to come pass off the park. Let's go to Villa Park and just relax. Let's see what Villa's got. And hopefully Villa can, we don't have to have 75% possession anymore. We can just see what teams are out and suss it out. And I think that's what we do best. So we can, obviously, sometimes we lull teams into it. That they feel like, oh, we're getting a lot of the ball here. We can give it this City team. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 passes, it's in the back of the net. So I'm just hoping we can, like I say, relax, take advantage of that result from Villa the other night, and put a little bit more pressure on, and just come away with a win.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Finally, I'll ask you about Grealish then. Have you been keeping an eye on Grealish at Man City? I know you're quite close to the family as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's enjoying his football. I think everyone at Man City wishing him well. He looks like he's playing with a little bit of freedom. But we knew that was always going to be the case, We don't think there's anybody that's going to tell us that Jack's a bad player. I think he's a fantastic player. It just went a little bit stale for him. And he's come out and he said, it wasn't all him, but he could have applied himself a little bit better. I get that. But, I mean, listen, he's looking okay, and the Everton fans love him. And I think with Jack, he needs to be loved. I think he needs that affection from the fans. And I wish him all the best. And like you say, if he does well this season, gets back in that England squad, and they activate that 50 million clause or whatever, I think it's a good signing. But I just don't think Everton can afford him, This is my problem. I think someone else might snatch him. If he has a good season there, I can see. I mean, I don't know what his relationship is like with Villa. I don't know if you guys would ever take him back. But, I mean, it'd be perfect. It'd be a nice little story if he went back there and did some bits for you guys. But I could see someone maybe like a Newcastle or someone coming in and saying, you know what, we'll have him. You know what I mean? So, but I wish him all the best, Jack. I think he's a great lad.
Yeah, nice one. Well, it's been great chatting to you, mate. Your thoughts on City are always top quality. I imagine every Villa fan watching will know your content, know who you are. So it's been great having you on, mate, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it, mate. Good luck Sunday.